Hey, what's going on? Today's deck is going to be Lulusives. It's a pretty interesting combo mixing Zoe and Lulu to get some really strong elusive units. Basically, you just try to rush down the opponent's nexus using elusive units and hope that they really don't have an answer. And if they don't, it turns out to be some pretty quick games. So why don't we go ahead and start by going over the deck list. I'm running 3 of Flower Child. Since this is running a general support package, Flower Child is a pretty good unit that gets really strong really fast, especially when you add in Mentor of the Stones. You know, it's a +4, +2 every single time it's supported. The +2/+0 that it gains whenever it's supported is permanent, so it gets a lot of value for being a 1-drop if it can stay on the board. I play 3 of Spacey Sketcher. I like the ability to invoke in this deck. It gives me some more staying power when you can pull out some of the good Celestial cards for this deck, such as Challenging Serpent or the Elusive Otter. The Serpent, the Charger is all good. The Trickster, very good. Even Crescent Strike can come in handy. We run 3 of Zoe. Zoe is probably the easiest elusive unit that we're going to play in this deck. She gives us a free super cool star chart whenever she strikes the Nexus, which also will invoke a Celestial card that costs 3 or less. So, we're really looking for the Serpent, the Charger, Crescent Strike, or Trickster. We're running 2 Green Glade Duos, another elusive unit that gets stronger the more allies you play that round. 3 Lunari Shadestalkers. It's another elusive unit as long as you play it on Nightfall. 2/3, so it's got a nice body. Could be used to jump block, especially when you're playing against like Spider Rush or what have you. 3 Pale Cascades to buff allies, and then if you play it on Nightfall, it gives you some draw power, which is nice. 3 Young Witches. This is going to be our first support unit that we run into. So not only is it elusive 1/1, which is nice, because it can, 1 damage might not seem like a lot, but when the Nexus is only 20 health, doing 1 damage consistently does chip away and can win you games. But its support effect is it gives a supported ally quick attack and +1/+0 this round. So it's a good way to guarantee that even if a unit does get blocked, you're still going to hopefully kill the unit that's blocking it with that quick attack plus the buff. We're playing 2 Hush. Units have a lot of effects right now in this meta, so being able to silence them can, turn some games around. Then we're playing Lulu. Lulu will support and make your ally a 4/4 from wherever it is. And then her level up is going to be creating a fleeting help picks as well as making your supported ally a 5/5 instead of just a 4/4. And the help picks is just a 1-drop focus card that gives an ally barrier, or you can give an ally vulnerable. Generally, when you're playing this deck, you're going to be using the barrier aspect to make sure that you can chump block, because you don't want to be taking huge hits if you can avoid it, especially when you have barrier. From there, we're playing the one of the Lunari Princess. It's another Nightfall Invoke card. So it gives you access to all the Celestials. Unfortunately, because this deck isn't playing like A Soul or trying to last very long, anything that's over 7 is probably way too expensive for you to even consider playing. The spells might not be the worst thing, just because you do get upwards of 3 spell mana on your turn. So, like this Cosmic Rays 8 cost is actually just 5 regular mana, 3 spell mana. And against some of the current meta decks, Cosmic Rays can basically destroy an entire board and open up the path for you. From there, we're playing another support card, Mentor of the Stones. its support will give the supported ally a permanent +2/+2, and it has the last breath to create 3 gems in hand. The 3 gems in hand can come in handy. You know, it gives +1/+0 and heals a unit, so you can be giving those gems to your elusive units, and it'll help them beef up and, you know, do more damage. But the support is really the meat behind this card. You want to be using this and supporting as much as possible, because every single time you support, the more value this card gets. You know, if you can support with 1 time, I think this card pays for itself. But if you support twice or 3 times with this 1 card, especially if you're supporting Flower Child or even like an elusive unit, since it's permanent buffs, the card is worth way more than the 3 mana you're paying for it. We're playing 3 Shadow Assassins. It's a 2/1 elusive. The real reason we play it is because of the draw power. It's an elusive unit that lets you draw, so what's not to love? We're playing 2 Bastion. You know, it gives an ally +1/+1 and Spell Shield permanently. So it's a good response type card in case you need to give a unit Spell Shield, or if you need to give a unit +1/+1 for some reason. We're also playing the 2 of Deny. Being able to deny or counter a fast, slow, or skill is going to come in handy, especially when you're running against stuff like TLC, where they use a lot of spells, and, you know, getting hit by Ice Shards or Avalanche clears your entire board. You kind of need to deny something like that. Then we're playing 2 of Blessing of Targon. Again, it's a +3/+3 and burst speed. So you drop this on an elusive unit, and it could potentially be game ending. Blessings of Targon and the Windfarer Hatchling are really your game finishers, with Windfarer Hatchling being the, if you're playing this card, you really need to win or you're in trouble, because it's the highest cost on your mana curve. You're not playing any other followers that cost more than 3 mana. Anything that's the 4 or 5 mana cards, being Bastion, Deny, and Blessing of Targon, are all spells, so you get full advantage of the spell mana aspect of the game. But you don't get that with Windfarer Hatchling. But, you know, it's a 4/2 elusive that gives every other ally +2/+2 this round, and if your entire board is elusive, that's a lot of damage that, you know, most decks don't really have an answer to, and you're really looking to close it out with the Windfarer Hatchling. So, you know, that's the list. It has a really, really low curve outside of the Windfarer Hatchling, so you got to make sure your opening hands, you want to have Zoe, you want to have Lulu, you want to have some type of low-cost elusive units, so you can start doing that damage right away and start generating value out of these cards, because this deck kind of sits in a weird spot. It's not aggressive enough to beat out aggro decks such as Spider Rush, or even like Azir Scouts, you know, but it's also not, it doesn't have enough stay power to survive against the long-lasting decks if you let them go for a long time. Things like TLC or Vladimir Braum, you know. This deck's firmly mid-range, and you can feel it when you play against certain decks. You know, this deck isn't going to be S tier, it's probably not even B tier, but I have the most fun playing decks that other people aren't really playing, and I think this deck could be a good time for the type of person that, you know, really just wants to play Lulu and wants to enjoy the support mechanic without playing like Fiora Shen. So why don't we go ahead and get into some games, and I can show you how it works. Playing against Dragons. There's been a new variant of Dragons going around lately that uses more of the Invoke cards and less of the Dragons. Seems to be pretty good. This opening hand's pretty good. We got Lulu, we got Zoe. We don't need the Bastions. We're hoping for some more odd curve cards. Young Witch is pretty good here. We're opening, so we'll drop the Zoe and we'll attack face. Yeah, Dragon Child's expected. But we'll pick up the free super cool star chart, pass turn. Next turn, I'm expecting them to play the Dragon Challenger unit, but it looks like they don't have it. So we're gonna drop our young witch.
Off we go! Roll down!
And we'll open with Lulu next turn and then go all in.
There's nothing a good giggle can't fix. Woo! Look
So we'll probably attack in order of Young Witch, Lulu, Zoe, so we get the proper support order that we're looking for. So that way, even if they did have a unit, you know, it would still work out properly. But looks like they don't have anything. This is the new dragon list that made its rounds on Reddit recently. It's turn 4, so they could have Shyvana on curve here.
The dragon's rage.
Shyvana will kill the Chow. We'll play the star chart.
Riddle me something cool.
I think we'll invoke again.
Calm mind and open heart greet the night. Suffer my fury.
Yeah, we're just... We'll just take that to face.
When others threaten, we
Drop
take action.
this. Play her, see if she plays another unit. Drop the Crescent Strike. No second unit. So we'll just stun here. I assume they have some type of strike card in their hand, so the stun here is really to avoid getting judgmented. We don't want to lose our entire board to a single Shyvana. That would be an instant loss for us right there. So I still assume they have some form of strike in their hand. I mean, they've got a full hand here. So let's see. I think we're still gonna go the same attack order here. Go like that. If they don't have a strike, we win here. If they do have a strike, they can only kill one of my minor threats. But looks like they don't have one, so we'll pick up the victory there. Not the greatest showing. They didn't really have an early curve, but that's kind of what we want out of Lulusives. We don't really want them to have that early curve to compete with us. So we'll see what happens in the next game. Sejuani Ezreal. Can't say I've ever seen this deck combination before, so maybe we'll get a good grindy game and I can actually show you what this deck does. We're gonna get rid of the Hush. Hopefully we can pick up a Lulu. But we have 2 units that support, so Flower Child's gonna get pretty strong. I mean, Flower Child into Mentor of the Stones is a ton of free stuff. Alright, goodbye Zoe.
Don't think I won't unmake you because I will.
We don't need to block there because there's not really a threat, so to speak. So we're gonna drop them into the stones.
teeth, though.
Am I gonna get mystic shotted? Yep. It's just like a control variant or something, I guess. We'll drop Young Witch into Shadow Stalker this turn.
We made it, Rim! I wanna go home!
This will be a good winter.
Well, they have one Mystic Shot left in their deck, so
Blessed by
I have that to look forward to, I guess.
Unseen, unheard.
Off we go! Roll down!
Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Okay, so I don't really have a way to deal with the Ezreal. I guess I can go like this. So I assume I just get Mystic Shotted again, but if he does block with the Ezreal, Ezreal dies, no matter what he blocks. So Brittle Steel.
This will be a good
Frostbite is in fact a mechanic. I don't know why I didn't Frostbite one of my young witches there, but
Why, hello there!
We'll trade like that. See what happens. With the Blessing of Targon.
blessed by snow and stars.
If I get frostbitten again, at least I survive. But
An auspicious sweet. I'm so good, I surprised myself.
Is it adventure time, you guys? What do you say, Glow?
so we'll drop the hatchling next turn and then go all in. See what the response is.
This way! Help! Hello, friends!
Harsh winds.
This will be a good winter.
I got more frostbite. 2 cards left in hand. Ezreal still can't block.
Obstacle, meat gauntlet.
Alright, this is fine. I'm okay trading. I assume they have like another Ezreal in hand or something, but I'm cool trading there.
We see through all.
Yeah, we're gonna hush that.
Blessed by snow and stars.
They have no cards or no mana, so
You like frogs, huh?
ooh. I actually think we just take here. We don't want her to be in Mystic Shot range, so we'll drop like that and go face again.
Humanity is obsolete.
Come on, Rib. Oh, don't get too close.
Another harsh winds.
An auspicious season.
Troll chant.
Blessed by snow and stars.
And then the surrender, yeah. I mean, that's basically what the ideal game looks like, right? We just play a bunch of elusive units and we power them up and we go face. So yeah. So there you have it. That's some gameplay of Lulusives. Some key takeaways I have from playing the handful of games I had to play in order to get some good, decent recordings. Thresh Nasus is everywhere. Everything's playing it. Honestly, if you're making a deck, you should be making a deck expecting to play against Thresh Nasus, and if you don't have an answer to it, then that deck's probably not good enough for the ladder. I played against Thresh Nasus 4 times using this deck, and I did not win a single time. I don't really see how this deck beats Thresh Nasus because of Atrocity. Every single time I came close to winning, I would just lose to Atrocity. Nasus doing 14 damage straight to my Nexus. I need board removal for this deck. My entire game plan is really just powering up units. So if my units get destroyed and theirs get to stay on the field because I don't run any board control, it's basically just a loss. The one of Lunari Princess probably isn't worth it. I definitely wouldn't take this deck to ladder. I think it's a fun deck to play in normals. I am going to iterate on it and hopefully get a better version of it, but until I figure out the best way to fix this deck, I definitely wouldn't go anywhere near ranked with it because you're just going to lose LP unless you're playing against off-meta decks. And, I think in general that's just what Legends of Runeterra really is if you want to have fun and play off-meta, then you probably have to stay to normals. And if you enjoy playing meta decks and you just want to win, then take that to ranked and you'll probably win more than 50% of the time. And if you take it to normals, you'll win even more than that. But overall, I do think this is a pretty fun deck. I'd love to hear what people think of it. Any improvements people think could be made. Things of the like. But thanks for watching. Have a good one.